Hey dudes, welcome back to Weird Math Videos by your teacher. I promise one day this will turn into a high-tech gaming video and you'll be wondering, why in the world did he make that junk back in the day? Well, sorry, but we're stuck with the junk for now. So today we're going to be using half sheets again, and I want to explore the difference when you flip multiplication. And I mentioned the communicative property of multiplication, so we're going to make these cards to kind of, I don't know, see how that is. And I know we were messing around with the models yesterday, so we're going to start with this problem. 2/3 times 1/2. Now I know that 2/3 times 1/2 is the same as 2/3 of 1/2. Now, can you gather what the main difference is between this problem and yesterday's problem? Take a light second to think. Well, the main difference is that yesterday's problems only had ones in the numerators. Now today we're going to be messing around where one of the fractions has something other than a 1 in the numerator. So it can make it a little more tricky, but as long as you're paying attention to what you're doing, it shouldn't be too bad. So the first thing we're going to do is draw the model. And remember, if this is 2/3 of 1/2, that means I have to start with 1/2, right? We always start with the second fraction. So here I'm going to just make my bar model. You know I'm a model crazy. So I start with 1/2. It's important to color it in. Okay, boom, 1/2. All right, now I'm finding 2/3 of 1/2. And I should mention that today you need to use multiple colors because it helps you keep track of what you're doing. So just use purple, boom, onto green. So now I'm finding 2/3 of 1/2, okay? So I'm going to split this fraction into thirds. There we go. Now the only thing different today is I'm not just taking a third now. Now this tells me to take 2/3 of it. So I circle 2/3. Okay? So there we are. I'm taking 2/3 of what was half. And what do I get when I look at 2/3? Well, now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total, so I have 2 out of 6. And if you think about it, 2 out of 6 is the same as 1 out of 3, right? Because there's one group, two groups, and down here, a third group. So 2/6 or 1/3. Alrighty, now what we're doing today, and the reason I cut this card, can you see me behind this? It's like I'm hiding. The reason I cut this card is we want to explore the difference, the subtle differences in the model. So now I'm going to flip this problem and do the opposite. So I want to do 1/2 times 2/3. And from yesterday, we know we will get the same answer, but just the model is different, okay? So I start with, if this is 1/2 of 2/3, I start with 2/3. Okay, there's 2/3. How beautiful. All right, I have 2/3. And now I'm splitting this sucker in half. Okay, other color so I can keep what I'm doing straight. Put this in half. Now I have 2 halves here, 1/2 of it, 2 halves, but I only want one of those halves, so I circle one of those halves. And similarly, there are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts of the whole, and I have 2 parts circled. So I have 2 out of 6. And there could be 1 equal group, 2 equal groups, three equal groups. I have one of three, so 2/6 or 1/3. And boom, look at this card I created. Pretty simple, but it's actually a fairly complex idea once we start getting into story problems and how to model exactly what is happening. So what you're going to do today is you'll go to the next slide and you'll see problems, and I'm going to ask you to do each side of the problem on these cards, and then we'll put these up, and I think it'll kind of help to have a little reminder or a reference point. All right, I'll see you right around 12. I'll try to give you a warning of when I want you shortly. All right, dudes, see you in a few.